I got to mute the TV. Now, good evening. Round number one of the NFL Draft 2024 is in the books, and the Kansas City Chiefs have a new wide receiver. They traded up to get their man, Xavier Worthy, out of Texas. Is the selection at number 28 as the Chiefs move up 4 spots in a trade with the Buffalo Bills. And, of course, the last time the Chiefs made a draft day trade up with the Bills, it turned out wonderfully. Hopefully, this will be the same, although same level of success is probably a bit too much to ask to the Patrick Mahomes trade. Dan Lucero and Spencer Dupuis hanging out with you here on the 580 Sports Talk YouTube page, on at 580 Sports Talk on Twitter, and on WIBW News on Facebook. This is our live instant reaction to round number one of the NFL Draft, while I also try to watch the Nuggets game against the Lakers. So we'll see. We'll have some fun with it. You can kind of see it in the background. You can see it over my I guess that's my right shoulder. You can see the reflection of the basketball. I hope we don't get DMCA'd or in any trouble for rebroadcast or retransmission of another sporting event. I hope we're all right there. All right.
We should be good.
Xavier Worthy is the pick. Instant reaction from you, Spencer. You had them taking Xavier Worthy in your mock draft. You had him waiting until 32 to take him. What do you love about the fit for Xavier Worthy and the Chiefs?
Well, that's it right there, Dan. I had them picking at him at 32 when there wasn't another wide receiver that happened to go to the same school as this guy on the board in A.D. Mitchell. And I believe he's still on the board. I was kind of tuned out for the last few minutes trying to fix things, but
he is.
That's an interesting thing there that they got Worthy over A.D. Mitchell. They go up to get a receiver. They gain day 3 picks, lose day 2 picks, or a day 2 pick in the matter. But they get another wide receiver, and to me, it sounds like Brett Veach is a little bit more worried about Rashee Rice than he let on in his press conference last week.
I don't know that is necessarily true. I think we can agree to disagree on that, but I do think that my preference has been all along A.D. Mitchell. My thought from the very beginning is that A.D. Mitchell was the better of the two Texas wide receivers, and my concern with Worthy vis-a-vis Mitchell is I know Mitchell is a well-rounded receiver. I'm not sure if Xavier Worthy is anything but fast guy. But let's start there. He's fast guy, all right. He's the fastest guy in the history of the the NFL Combine. He ran the 4.240 at this year's Combine. It is tremendous straight line speed, and it shows up in games. Some guys just have that track speed that isn't really game speed, doesn't really translate to ability to get off, separate, make plays down the field. It's just straight line track and field speed. Not Xavier Worthy. It's game speed. It is legitimate speed. It is top end, top of the scale, burners, jets that Xavier Worthy has. And the Chiefs can make that work. They've shown in the past they can make that work with the fast guys. That's what I like about the pick. Tremendous speed, the ability to go and stretch the defense in a way the Chiefs haven't been able to do since they traded Tyreek Hill. In the last 2 seasons, teams have been able to bring their safeties closer to the line of scrimmage against the Chiefs because they haven't had to respect that deep over-the-top threat. And Marquez Valdes-Scantling, love his effort, love his energy, was never the replacement deep threat. And Rashee Rice, that's not really his game. And with regards to other guys on the Chiefs roster, that's not really their game either. That is Xavier Worthy's game. Him and Marquise Brown going downhill, down the field, getting open on those deep shots for Mahomes to throw, that's an exciting prospect. So I think that's what you like about it if you're the Chiefs. My concern, though, is that maybe he's just fast guy. I want to see him master the route tree. I want to see a little bit more mastery of all of that to be fully convinced that this is the right pick. For me, I liked A.D. Mitchell's full skill set better than Xavier Worthy's. I also know there were some criticisms of his hands coming into this draft, and I know that makes Chiefs fans wince a little bit because of the problems with drops last year, but a lot of those issues that he had with drops were in his sophomore season when he was playing after a broken hand. So maybe we can forgive him a little bit and give him an opportunity to prove that he's not going to be afflicted with the dropsies the way Chiefs receivers were last year. All in all, you pleased? Do you think it's a good pick? Do you like the process of it? Do you think the Chiefs needed to trade up to get this done?
I don't know if they needed to trade up necessarily to get it done. But if Xavier Worthy was their guy of those receivers, I guess they thought they did. I just think it's really interesting that the Bills were the partner because of them going at it in the playoffs. And then I also, back off of that is the Bills backed themselves out of that pick as well. So beside the point of what the Chiefs are doing, what are the Bills doing? We'll talk about that more on the show tomorrow. But I think the Chiefs took advantage of the draft and being able to trade. And Brett Veach, we talked about him trading. We talked about the possibility of a trade up a lot more in the last couple of weeks than we had leading up to that point. And I think with Brett Veach doing what he does, being that good drafter, the guy that executes great deals, you got to trust him. And I think you have Hollywood Brown, you have Xavier Worthy, and that's who you have right now to start the season with. Rashee Rice potentially coming in week 7, week 8, depending on if he gets suspended this year or whatever. That could be a great wide receiver trio.
Yeah, I like the making of it for a year for certain. That's as good a 1-2-3 at wide receiver potentially as I think the Chiefs have had. Now, that's just potential talking. Xavier Worthy's got to come in and prove he can make an impact in his rookie year, and certainly how many games would Rashee Rice miss if indeed he's suspended by the NFL? But 1-3 at wide receiver, the Chiefs feel pretty set for 2024. Here's what I think happened. This is my theory, and I'll expand on this on tomorrow's edition of 580 Sports Talk. There was some buzz about teams moving up for offensive tackles. And
I heard that as well.
One of those teams has been connected with a tackle was the Chiefs. And then everybody knew that the Ravens were in the market for a tackle, even though they ended up taking one. They took a cornerback instead at number 30. A lot of people thought Dallas might take a tackle. They ended up taking one at 29, Tyler Guyton. I think the Bills got deked. I think the Bills thought the Chiefs were moving up for a left tackle and thought we can go down and we'll still have our pick of the litter at wide receiver because none of the other teams are going to pick wide receivers, which, again, they would have been wrong about that, too, because 49ers turned around and took Ricky Pearsall with the 31st pick out of Florida. But I think that's what happened. I think the Bills got deked. I think Brett Veach worked Brandon Beane. That is my theory. I'll expand on it on tomorrow's show.
I like that theory.
The Chiefs move up 4. They also trade a 3rd rounder and a 7th rounder. They get a late 4th rounder and a late 7th rounder back. So that means the Chiefs will only have one pick in the second day of the draft tomorrow. They will pick 64th, final pick of the second round. And that will be the only pick they are scheduled to make. But if we know anything about Brett Veach, he does like to move up and he will be aggressive if he sees an opportunity to be aggressive. The rest of the first round, let's do a quick reaction to what we saw tonight. We saw the most offense-heavy draft in the history of the common draft since 1967. A full 14 offensive players went off the board before the first defensive player of the night. The top 4 chalk. Caleb Williams to the Bears, Jaden Daniels to the Commanders, Drake May to the Patriots, Marvin Harrison to the Cardinals, Joe Alt goes to the Chargers as an offensive tackle, then Malik Neighbors to the Giants, J.C. Latham to the Titans, then the Falcons threw the first big curveball of the draft by selecting Michael Penix out of Washington, their outstanding cornerback. 2 more quarterbacks would go in the top 12. Minnesota let the board come to them, only had to move up 1 spot to go get their man, Michigan's J.J. McCarthy, and the Denver Broncos at 12 selected Oregon's Bo Nix. 6 quarterbacks in the top 12. First defensive player off the board was UCLA edge rusher Laiatu Latu. He went to UCLA. We told you about the AFC West rivals for the Chiefs. The Chargers taking Joe Alt at number 5. The Broncos taking Bo Nix at 12. The Raiders get the best tight end in the draft, Brock Bowers out of Georgia. He and Michael Mayer could be a very talented tight end combo, but does not look like the Raiders are going to come out of this weekend with a starting quarterback. Which AFC West team's pick did you like the best?
Probably the Chargers.
Any reason particularly that they got Joe Alt? Or is it just that you like, or is it just that you felt like the other teams went bozo mode a little bit?
I think that as well, but I was kind of anticipating maybe the Chargers to go elsewhere, maybe a receiver, or trade the pick, but they stuck at 5 and they picked probably the best tackle in the draft. And for them, that's probably the best pick they could have done. I didn't like any of the other picks in the AFC West. I like Brock Bowers, but
at 13,
you got to pair it with a good quarterback.
Yeah, at 13 to a team with a lot of other holes, I thought that was a little curious. I've been saying for weeks, I thought the Broncos were going to take Bo Nix. I didn't think they were going to take him at 12. I can't believe they ended up taking him at 12.
Did you hear everything Schefter said on Twitter?
I did not know.
So he
yes. No, I did.
Sean Payton likened him to Patrick Mahomes back in 2017.
Yeah, he said he felt the same way about Nix the way he felt about Mahomes because, they were such similar prospects when they were coming out of college. Yeah, no mistaking that. Like, that's ridiculous. I don't believe that for 1 second. Schefter's doing PR work for his guy, Sean Payton, in my opinion. So, yeah, that stunned me that was the pick at number 12. I really thought that if the Broncos were going to end up with Nix, it might be with a trade back or maybe early round 2. But if they thought the Raiders were going to take him, if he's your guy, draft your guy. That's what they always say. So that's what the Broncos did. But it ends up being a very quarterback and offense-heavy round 1 of the draft. A few comments from the folks in the YouTube live chat. Barbara says, do you think that the Chiefs took advantage of the round? I think you're right. The way the draft kind of fell to them, they were able to move up, get the wide receiver that they wanted. Paul says, really like the pick, really like the aggressiveness to keep him off the roster in Buffalo. I do. I think Brandon Beane got deked. Yeah. I think Brett Veach worked him like a speed bag. That's my theory on that one. Lori says, I saw Xavier run the combine, thought the Chiefs needed to draft him, watch his highlight video from college. He was a freshman of the year in the Big 12 in 2021. Has outstanding college tape. And I think that he's got a chance to really be a good one for the Chiefs. I liked Mitchell as a prospect better, but speed plays, and the speed is undeniable for Xavier Worthy. He is the 28th overall pick. He is the newest Kansas City Chiefs. And when the pick was announced, Patrick Mahomes tweeted the sunglasses smiling emoji. So, he likes it. And if it's good enough for Patrick Mahomes, it's good enough for all of us. Hey, join Spencer and I tomorrow on 580 Sports Talk. We're going to come on live after the Royals game, provided they don't sit through another hours-long rain delay only to not play baseball. Hopefully, we are on with you at approximately 3 o'clock tomorrow, and we will be with you until 6 o'clock. We'll be breaking down round 1, looking ahead to day 2. Matt Derrick of Chiefs Digest will join us. So join us tomorrow. All of these same video sources will have 580 Sports Talk tomorrow, plus, of course, on 580 WIBW. For Spencer Dupuis, I'm Dan Lucero. Thanks for hanging out with us. Have a great night. We will talk to you tomorrow